longer, but this is pretty normal at this level to have just 3 days off. And some of them were traveling, one of those days. So it is it's good to be back on the floor. I think we've had 2 or 3 practices just trying to get back, and we were only off a week. Get back as quickly as getting game shape. We're as healthy as we've been, and we've had good practices. Going to step into the Big Ten now is a whole different arena, so to speak. It is Illinois. Obviously, we had a tough loss there last year, and we got to go down there. And winning on the road in this league is very, very hard. And you just got to take one game as it comes up and try and get that win. So I like what I see from their team. We've seen Malcolm Hill. Kendrick Nunn is now healthy. Malcolm Hill's been healthy. He is a heck of a player. And now that they've added a center, a pick and pop center, that's something we haven't seen. We see from Wisconsin in the past and a few other teams in the past. This is a different element to guard a pick and pop center, and it's something we got to defend well.
Chris?
They've kind of morphed into not exactly what you guys do, but they shoot a lot of threes and things like that. How critical is it that you guys defend the perimeter well?
Our numbers would say we're in the middle of the pack at defending the three in our league. It's going to be essential in this game. They're making 8 a game. They have really 4 guys on the floor all the time that can make them, much like we do, and it is difficult to defend. And so, what's unusual again is the 5-man is one of those guys. Even in transition, big men are used to matching up, not matching out, and we got to match out as well as up.
Obviously, with all their injuries and stuff, things have been they've had a bunch of different lineups and things like that. But really, I guess when you look at those early losses against North Florida, Chattanooga and stuff versus these recent wins, Missouri, Yale, whatever, what are the things that really jump out to you, the differences?
That they have a rhythm right now. I mean, the transfer from Charlotte, Thorne, right, is the big guy. We saw him from Charlotte before. That was one way to play, but then when he was in there, Kendrick Nunn was out. And now that Nunn is back, it's changed everything. But then I think Finke has changed the dynamic of this team. They are spreading people out, and now Nunn and Hill have more room to drive. Jalen Coleman's got a lot of room. It's really, they're scoring the ball right now. So it's important. We just got to find ways to stop them. Don't give them second opportunities. And they're turning people over at a pretty good rate. Not out of this world, but 13 a game. We got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
John, speaking with Derek, things are going well, 4-game winning streak. How important is this going on to Illinois, not only in the sense of opening up the Big Ten, but then you also have Maryland and Purdue looming in a couple weeks as well. I mean, is there extra emphasis put on this game?
No, I mean, you got to put extra emphasis on every game, no matter what. You can't look at a schedule like that and just say, you say, we got to win this one. Does that mean that you don't try and win it sometimes? So it's the same every day, and you can't put too much stock in early season losses. At the end of the year, you might look back and say, wow, that was a tough game. But tough game to lose. That probably shaped our season. I don't think any of this stuff is defining yet.
When you kind of look at the season segment-wise, I mean, what kind of progress, are you noticing any immediate progress within the past 4 games, or is this just all kind of building on?
Yeah, we're seeing progress every day, and in many areas. Then we'll see a step backwards, which is very frustrating. We had a couple step backwards in practice today. It was like, wow, this is something that is not. It's just holding us up. At the same time, we've made so many steps forwards. I can't let that get in the way of this growth mindset we have to have if you're a basketball coach today, especially with any team, let alone a team as young as ours.
Is there anything that's said to Mo and to Duncan about the difference in Big Ten play as opposed to what they've been seeing, or is that just something where they have to go out there and experience it for themselves?
I think that we saw it a little bit at North Carolina State. We certainly saw it at SMU. I think those were really good indications of road game. First, you got the road game and you got the bigger body, and so you got those two balanced. So I don't know how many teams at our level played 2 road games against BCS opponents, but we did, and I think those were good for us. But then you go it's been a month since we played some of those teams, so they can't forget about it. But we're ready to go, and I think gradually, you're never completely comfortable with playing on the road, but you get more comfortable as you go out on the road.
Chris?
You like the chemistry offensively and what you're starting to see and the way
Yeah.
you're starting to gel?
Yeah, you look at our numbers right now, and they're really good. They're numbers that are of great quality, but it's non-conference again. So you ever have ever have these numbers in the conference, and we're going to vie for a championship. But keeping those numbers up now, when the talent is better, is going to be hard.
And do you think Zach is getting pretty close to 100%?
Yeah, he's really looked good in practice. No, I don't think he's going to be at 100% the whole year from where he left off last year. When I think that another summer of getting his body right again will probably get him back to 100% where he was. He's probably much better than he was as a freshman, however. But that one summer that he spent here, that was really helpful for him to get him jumping and rebounding and his quickness, his defense, and everything.
Brendan, you got anything?
I guess you said on that break, you try to maybe take a step back to look at things
Yep.
from a little bit far. Anything jump out at you, whether it be statistical or anything like that?
Yeah, I was really pleased with our stats when they came out, but there was nothing that really jumped out that I think I didn't already realize with the team. I do know that one stat that jumped out, as I said, I think I'm going to mention this, that when we got under 40% defensive field goal percentage, it was like 5th or 6th in the league. There's people that are at 35. So when we go into this league and we go playing against people, there's some great, and our rebounding numbers are really, offensive rebound are really low. But so is Maryland, and Maryland's got a heck of a team for offensive rebounding. So you sort of just look at it and say, okay, this is who we are. We can't change some of these stats we have. What can we do better while we work on the things that are blind spots?
And you said to Brad in the recent TV interview that you want them to be nastier.
Yeah.
How do you coach nastier?
Yeah, it's just got to embrace physical contact, and we're trying to teach it in our box outs. We have the steps to run. We got different things just to get people to hit people harder when they box out. We just box a guy out. That does not make it in this league. They got to feel you when you box them out, and that's really important. And what is deceiving sometimes, you'll play a team that does not put that crashing the boards. They might only crash 1 or 2 people, and you go through 2 or 3 games where you don't feel it, and then you play some of the teams that crash 4 guys, and you can't adjust like that. So that's the biggest thing, that practice games, everything, we got to be really tougher and nastier when it comes to, I want the bat. I'm getting that ball, you're not.
Now, are there some guys who are just that type of player? Or
Oh,
something
yeah,
that you
yeah,
teach?
yeah. And Zach Novak walked in the door with that mentality. Tim Hardaway did not walk in the door with that mentality. He came out with that mentality where he'd get a 50-50 ball, he'd get a rebound. That's Mitch McGarry walked in with that mentality, right? So you get few of those. You don't get a lot of them, but guys can grow to be that way. And nobody would tell me that Stu Douglas, right, at the end would win 50-50 balls like crazy, right? Or go get rebounds that he would get. Some of it you can acquire. But perfect world, you'd like to have it all. Truth is, that barely happens.
So the last one on this, do you think that when you play teams that you have a reputation that they think they can come out and maybe in the first 5 minutes impose
Yeah,
themselves
yeah.
and change the way you play?
Yeah, there's no question that happens to us, and we have to just continue to understand that's what's happening. We got to prepare them in practice for that. You try to prepare them in practice, and they try to get it, and then they're doing it against the scout team, or they're doing it against each other. But then you got a guy like Tolbert from SMU, and now they really realize that that's not going to work. And you got to play around that. He's still going to get more offensive rebounds than we can stop him from getting. But you got to have a more supreme effort in those areas than just an effort.
Can this team contend for a title?
I think every team that we're going to ever coach here, we go into this season at that point thinking that's what we want to do. We can contend for a championship. At the same time, we got a lot of things to get better at before we could ever fulfill that goal.
And then the officiating, has it been as consistent as you'd hoped it would be? And is this kind of Big Ten play kind of the ultimate test of that?
Yeah, I think now we'll get into where, because we are playing 14 separate games every night, that our officiating crews are a little mixed from the Summit and the MAC. And now I think Rick Boyages, who does it, will have more of the 2 or 3 of our top Big Ten officials. But I've been pleased with it so far. I haven't been that upset with too many things so far. There's, we hedge ball screens hard. There's been a few of those calls that are, what are you gonna do? But we're, I think there's been really consistent, and now it's gotta stay that way as we go into the Big Ten.
We'll take one final one from Adam.
John, you mentioned, taking the steps forward and then slipping back a little bit. Is there anything that sticks out, like a specific example where you can say, these are the steps that we made, this is where we messed up?
Well, I don't like to dwell on the negative too much here. It's just, there'll be things, whether it's just let's take an example, just running the court at full speed. We get a rebound. The first 3 steps are gonna get you ahead. The next 3 steps can create a basket. But we'll traditionally run the summer run, which is I'll get there when I get there. Yeah, it's a fast break. That's just a perfect example of it. You'll do it, but those take energy, that takes effort, that takes commitment. That's a perfect example of it. So we have those type of things or a talk on a switch or a hedge. And all of a sudden in the game, there's no talk. We're supposed to read, the guy who's guarding the ball is supposed to read your mind that there's a ball coming, and it just happens, just getting guys to think quicker is really important, and then be loud. Once again, as I told Brendan, you have really nice kids, sometimes won't be as loud. Novak walked in being strong, having strong talk. That's the biggest area we gotta get to.
So is it more of a, maybe not an effort thing, more but an actual, like, application,
Yeah,
applying
the
it?
processing for different people, fatigue slows down your processing. Some guys are slow at it anyhow. They need more and more volume to get it. And that's why you like veteran teams. I think the biggest thing defensively is having more of a veteran team. We're better this year than we were last year because we have more guys that have been through it again. And every year you get better as long as you have guys that have been through it.
Coach, we have one final.
Coach, change topic just a little bit. Are you gonna get any time to watch the Citrus Bowl or any bowl games?
Oh, yeah, no, we're gonna have we have Penn State the next day. So we're gonna have practice in the morning. I think the whole team's coming over to my house to watch the game, so we're excited about that. I've loved following that team all year long, and it's been a great first season, and it would be great to finish with a win.
Are you a fan